Assalamu alaikum listeners. I am Yusuf Salihuti Kalo with the continuation of the novel called A Muslim Tale. Last time we stopped where Amira said the house is seriously massive, so we will continue here. Rabia was getting her hair down and brushed and her makeup set up. I got along just fine, even though I felt out of place, it was okay. I mean, I was not a British girl anyway. After an hour or so, someone knocked on the door and we all stood up and opened the door. It was Khalid. We all ran off laughing and ran across the wall and bumped into Amir, who had taken off his coat and was wearing only his stock in white shirt. Great hitting a guy. I can expect a punch now. I looked at him and he was staring down at me. I can expect a punch anytime soon. One time when I was like 13, I bumped into a kid, so I punched him thinking he will have punched me first. So if I punch him first, I will be okay. I got into trouble too. I was an idiot. I tried speaking, but it was just crazy. I swallow hard and blink. This is literally reminding me of this guy I used to work with. He was so intimidating. I am sorry, I did not mean to bump you, I said, shifting my gaze. Are you nervous? He asked with his big deep voice and heavy accent. Why will he even ask that? A simple okay will work. No, I say, keeping my eyes down. Then why do you keep stuttering? He asked. I don't know, I said, lowering my voice. Do you have stuttering problem? He asked. No, I said, as he sighed and gave me nod and walked off. What is up with this guy? Like, are they treating me weird because I am a Canadian? Like, help me please, somebody. I finally breathed and walked downstairs where they all look at me. The girl were gone, I guess. Amira, come sit with, need to talk, my dad said. I looked at him weird and awkwardly, took a seat next to my dad. Four pairs of eyes were settled on me and something told me this was serious. I swallowed hard and nodded. Did someone snitch on me or something? I literally talked to nobody. What is it? I asked. As you know, me and Uncle Dowd have been friends for quite some time now. Back then we promised that we'd become relatives and arrange our children to have married. Now we are obviously not gonna force you guys. It is totally up to you and we have no expectation. We trust you, we will make a decision carefully and you too can talk and tell us your decision. No pressure, we don't have any expectation. Inshallah, your decision will be what is best for you. My dad ended and my heart literally stopped. I was at the wedding introducing random people that I knew nothing of. The worst part was everyone who brought along their young daughters will introduce me to her and the girl will smile and act all shy. Then they will get to know my parents and get us arranged. But my dad has other plans in mind. I am a rich guy, I have a proper job, I practice Islam and I don't talk very much in front of them anyway. I am not gonna try and act cocky, but the girls are only into me because I am a good looking guy. Quite frankly, I don't really care what they are into me for. It was the same with my brother. My parents suddenly shrieked and got up and headed for some other new people. A man and woman of my parents' age and a girl. She looked around 17, 19. She was wearing a long dress and her scarf was wrapped around simply, not too fancy. She seemed different. Her eyes were brown and big. She had a cute look to herself, and when I mean cute, I mean like a childish cute, and that I have seen much more better. I have no intention on meeting some new shy chick with a small body and short hair. I was sick of this, so I was about to leave, but my dad grabbed my arm. What are you doing? I. This is my main guest. My dad seemed to know him well. I turned my eyes back at the girl who kept her eyes away from me. Weird. The parents seemed chill, so that was a good thing. None of them were staring or bringing up anything that usual would say. Time to get this boy married. After some time, I found out the girl was a teacher and was 23 years old. Now that was surprising. I was expecting her to be a student. It is okay for me to feel bad for her. Also, that she was the girl my dad was arranging me with. She was Uncle Yasin's daughter. She was okay, not too serious and usual, not too shy, even though she started well talking to me. She did not seem to like to talk to me. Did she even know she was gonna get married to me? She did not act like it. I came out of my room after I took off my coat. Suddenly, a girl ran and bumped straight into me. But it was not just any girl, it was Amira. Yeah, she is putting a good impression on her future husband, if we agree that is. I look at her, keeping my eyes at her face, and she finally looked up at me with her big brown eyes. She tried to speak but was stuttering. I am sorry, I did not mean to bump you, she said, lowering her eyes. Her voice was quite unusual, not so much on the girly side. It was sort of like guyish, but a younger kid. It was a miss. She spoke in a Canadian or American accent. I like hearing her talk with such an absurd accent. They speak a lot more softly, though it is fast. Them Hollywood movie got me good. Our movie are better, especially our trailers. It is funny cause you will not think a girl like her does not have high-pitched voice. She is so short and small, I will assume she will have a tiny pitch voice. Are you nervous? I asked. No, she said. Then why do you keep stuttering? I don't know. She lowered her voice barely louder than a whisper. Do you have a stuttering problem? I asked. I am both trying to be rude. I am just genuinely curious. No, she said, as I nodded and walked off. What an odd girl. I was in shock. I don't know if I am ready for marriage. But again, I am becoming older and my family will finally stop picking at me. I am kind of afraid he was gonna reject me. My parents are understanding people and they have always guided me through. So if they like him, I am bound to try and just work with him. Tomorrow they were gonna come to our place and I don't have talk with Amir. Was just too much to think about. Marriage was the last thing on my mind right now. Okay, we will not the last. We will not the last, but certainly not the first. More of a second or third, but now I was not so sure. I mean, I did not even know what the guy think of me. I mean, clearly he had not shown interest in me, not that I wanted him to either. But he was not even nice, he was just blank. I guess this is how life is, confusing. I woke up, took a long shower and put on a long dress that went a couple of inches over my knees and a pair of black tights along with a black scarf. Shall I wrap around my head and pin? I grabbed my jacket and headed down. Assalamu alaikum Amira, my mom said, smiling as I headed toward the kitchen. Wa alaikum assalam mommy, I replied, washing my hands. Oh Amira, I want you to cook multiple and delicious food for our guests, my mom said. My smile faded at the remembrance of the guests. It is not that I did not like them. It is the reason why they are coming that I don't like. Don't be coming to my house to take me to yours. Just kidding. So after finishing breakfast, I started with some biryani, some butter chicken, a couple samosas and bakoras, and my mom ordered up some naan from a nearby restaurant. I think this was like the first time I made so much food all my own. It took me hours. My mom had been cleaning the house and decorating it to look nice. By 6 o'clock, the guests had parked in front of our house and knocked at the door. I opened the door and held the door open for them to enter. The intensity and the anxiousness I was feeling was insane. Assalamu alaikum, Auntie said, lightly hugging me. Wa alaikum assalam, I replied with a smile. Then uncle smiled and greeted me with a smile and headed toward my parent. Amir walked in and stood as tall as ever. He did not look down at me, nor did he turn toward me. He looked straight ahead and greeted me, then walked off. I closed the door and headed to the kitchen. While walking past the living room, I caught a glimpse of the guests and my parents who were talking and laughing endlessly. I looked toward Amir who was looking straight at me. I quickly walked to the kitchen and sat at the table. This was crazy. This was just too sudden. I wonder if all girls freak out. How am I supposed to react when a guy you may be spending your entire life with is in the same room as you? After some time, I brought the samosas and the pakoras along with some sweet and some drink to the living room. It has been an hour since I have gone in there, and I was freaking out. Any minute, I'll be face to be face with him. My heart was beating faster just thinking about it. I wish I could just walk in there and yell I am stressed out. Amira, come on, it is time for you to have a chat. Don't worry about a thing. Just stay cool and relax, my mom said, smiling. She took my arm and led me to the living room where I stood next to the couch where my parents said, MashaAllah, Amira, the samosas were delicious. Thank you so much, Auntie said, and I flashed her a smile. It was my pleasure, I said. She is so beautiful, MashaAllah, Auntie said to my mom as my mom smiled at me. Well, why don't the two of you talk and we will go out in the garden? My dad said, getting up, and so did Auntie, Uncle, and my mom. No, please, don't leave, please. In a couple of seconds, they were gone, and I stood there completely awkward and shy. My heart was skipping beats, and my knees did not feel so strong anymore. Why don't you sit? He said, putting his hand out, pointing to the couch. Bro, it's my house. I tried to move, but I felt the need to stay back. But I slowly walked in the baby step and sat in front of him and studied his face, such a blank expression. It is almost impossible to see or observe what he is thinking. So Amira said, we don't get married. What are your plans after that? So Amira said, we do get married. What are your plans after that? Speaking of your job. Amir finally spoke. I was still uncomfortable, but I decided to fight my fear. He seemed so confident, knowing exactly what he wanted to know, and straight to the point without any sort of hesitation. Well, I will probably take a month off and then I will see, cause I work 3 days a week as a teacher. So if there is no problem with that, I say playing with my fingers. Do you pray 5 times a day? He asked like he was my teacher. Yes, I do. My very best too, I said. I think you should ask a few questions you would like to know, he said as I swallowed hard. No, you can continue. I wanted to say, have you had any past relationship? I asked. I have not had any, so if he has, it will be an immediate turn off. I figure if I held myself, then the man I marry should too. Don't get me wrong, I know the past is the past and you should not bash at them, but the past shows something about their character. In my life, I had liked a man who's pure like me. To me, that is only fair. I know a lot of people feel that it is something you should leave out, but it is just my preference. No, have you? He asked. No. What is your thought about a wife working? As long as it does not interrupt her other responsibility as a wife, and as long as she is properly covered, I am fine with it, he said. I was impressed with his given answer. Do you fast? I asked. Yes, I fast. I think we are done. I am sure you have got a glimpse of what type of a Muslim I am, and I have got a glimpse of what you are. But now I want to ask you things about yourself to get to know you better. Like, what do you like to do? Well, then clearly he is very straight up. Well, I like to play basketball. Before I moved here, my friend and I will go to the court at the park and play all the time, and sometimes at my friend indoor gym. I also like to read books like mystery, thrillers, sometimes crime, I also like traveling. I went to Egypt with a few classmates for a school project and I love India. I love it there. I also went to India when I learned to cook, stayed there for quite some time, and I went to Japan for 2 weeks and New York for 4 weeks. I love cats and chocolate and ice cream, especially at the beach. We have this beach that has crazy different ice cream places. I love getting gelato. So this one I went to did not have a pay. See, for one scoop and it tastes rotten. I am still mad about it. I stopped suddenly realizing I was getting off topic. Shoot, I hate staring to ramble. I hate starting to ramble. It happened with my friends all time, but with friends it is okay. But with this guy, oh hell no. I am literally just walking into a pile of embarrassment. I saw him smile and turn back to his blank expression. Interesting, that is a lot of things. How about characters wise? I have said I am more of down to earth person. I don't really like too much. I am usually relaxed. I don't really like overthinking too much. I don't know what else. Anyway, how about you? What do you like? So listener, we are stopping here. Please follow us for the full story.